Hi guys, Tom Major Dan here, and today I will be reviewing the Witchfinders. And this video probably won't be out for at least a week because a certain review, the review on Kablam, which Bad Wolf Bay Productions will be reviewing, hasn't been made yet, and I do not know why at this point, but it hasn't been made in that. But this video will come after that view anyway, so it doesn't really much matter really. But I will say that this video won't really have much as a review structure as it usually does, because I've literally just watched the episode and there's quite a few thoughts going around in my head and that, so I thought we'd just dive into them quickly. So this episode, it was disappointing. It was really disappointing. The most disappointing episode of this series, to be honest. And it's not bad. It is not bad. Nah, it's got good character moments. It's got a great character in King James. It's got, you know, good directing, great atmosphere. But I feel like there are some things it really lacked. And I'm gonna, I feel like this episode would have worked better if two ways of doing it is have it as a pure historical, and I think the story would have done wonderfully as a pure historical. But obviously, yes, it's New Who, and obviously the classic era stopped it at the really early stages with pure historicals. So that's kind of asking for a bit too much, but I feel like Chibnall should have brought that back really, because some of it, even though the not pure historicals, what am I saying? Historicals have been the best of this series, let's be honest. It's the fact that the one error they have is that the villains aren't really in them, and it can be excused. And it would have worked, the same way if it was a pure historical. And I know people have argued the fact that, oh no, the Doctor, no, not doing anything, nah. But there's not really much you can do in that. And, the pure historicals did that all the time. Let's be honest. No, because there's literally a Doctor getting into a situation, and then they have to try and find their way back to the TARDIS. But yeah, and I feel like another way they could have done this episode is if, instead of those mud creatures or whatever they were, I really don't get what they were, to be honest, is that if they did Carrier Knights instead. I think the Carrier Knights would have worked wonderfully in the episode while list. But obviously, this, I won't blame the writer for this, but this is all down to Chibnall really, and Chibnall, I feel like one of the biggest mistakes he's made in this series is not having some classic monsters remain in that, because I feel like he's trying to make it too new at this point, and I feel like some episodes could have easily have worked with older monsters now, and I feel like this is one of them. So yeah, I'm gonna go into like the characters now, but that was like my issue on that. But the Doctor in this episode, we finally get to see a bit of a sexist side to people surrounding her and that, like King James and etc., treating her in a sexist way, and that, like, they're very patronising that, and that's very nice and that, and that's something that has been needed to be done in this series and that, but there hasn't been any need for it, but there has been a need for it to happen at some point, because you can't just really like ignore like the past now. You can't just say that no one was sexist in the past or racist in the past and that, but yeah, but there, it's covered, the past has covered racism and that, political and sexism now, so, with the series. And, finally glad to see the Doctor's in actually a different position in the story for a change in that, because she's not like, considered as a leader and that, really. Well, she's considered as a leader to her companions, but the people surrounding her, like King James and that, they don't see her as a leader because she's a woman. So I feel like that was a nice change in that. And there's also another bit where the Doctor is considered as a witch in that, and she goes through like quite a few nice scenes with King James and that, and King James finally succumbs to her, changing his mind that she's not that he's in the wrong and that. So there's a nice change there, but there's not really much else really to say. And the companions, I'm not going to lie, but Ryan, all he did was try and distract King James, which didn't work, and King James liked him. That's literally all there was for Ryan. Graham, he was the leader of the gang, well, sort of, and that was about it. Yaz, well, she was just talking to a village girl whose nan died. There really wasn't much to the companions in the story, wow. And this is quite disappointing because Chip and I said we were going to have wonderful character development throughout the series, rather than like good story, rather like, not necessarily good stories, but like stronger stories. Because there are good stories in the series, but they're not as strong as they can be, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just, wow, Chimnall, you've really made a mistake here, because obviously you can't develop these characters very well in that. And yeah, and I feel like people might say, oh, he was able to develop the characters in Broadchurch, but you have to remember that it was mostly the same characters in Broadchurch, while in Doctor Who you have new characters all the time. So that is a difference between the shows. Because obviously Doctor Who goes all throughout the cosmos and that, whereas Broadchurch is just in the town or whatever. I haven't seen Broadchurch, but it does look really interesting, I will say. But there's really not much to the companions and that. But I will say that we get a good bit of for Becca and that. And yeah, she was an alright character, not necessarily the best now. She had a good twist, I will say that. And I'm not going to say what the twist is because I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen the episode. But yeah, she was an alright character, and she was like very obeying of King James and that, which was nice. And speaking of King James I thought was an absolutely fabulous character. The best thing about this story, to be honest, absolutely fantastic. He was quite a fun character to be around and that, but you know, he had this like sort of like threatening side to him at the start, but as the story goes on we start to like the character and that, and the character starts changing his mind about things and that. But obviously he does believe in the witch trials and that, you know he's quite a good character, but then you also got that nasty side to him as well. So, but yeah, I really like this character. One of the strongest characters in the series 10, to be honest. I really liked him. I know some people say it's like a bit over the top and that, but in my opinion, Alan Cumming was absolutely incredible as King James. But yeah, ideas in the story. Mud was taking over people's bodies. No, that's interesting. Would have been more exciting. Could have had a more exciting monster, because the monster was pretty crap, to be honest. And other than that, the witch trial idea for a story to have witch trials, that's a wonderful idea. Could have been done better though. But yeah, that's literally all I've got to say for this episode. And what would I rate it? A 5 out of 10. It's not bad. And it's not good either. It's got some good things about it, but it's also got some bad things about it. And I just felt really disappointed by this episode, because this was an episode I was really looking forward to now. Because I was looking forward to an episode with Alan Cumming and a story about the witch trials. But other than those two things, this was just a really disappointing episode. And you know, a lot of people do seem to like this episode, and that's fine. This is just my opinion, and that's fair enough. But series 11 so far just haven't really fascinated me really at all, really, because it's not really the most imaginative series of Doctor Who ever. And to be honest, I think it's the least imaginative series of the show so far. No, because because every other series of Doctor Who seems to have at least a little bit of an imagination to it, some originality. While this series seems to lack that to an extent, but I feel like little things could be considered as original, but not like, all the major bits and that. Like, it's just, can we have something more original, please? Can we have more imaginative stories? Can we not go down the safe route? Please, I would like a nice change. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if anyone agrees with me or disagrees with me, please send in the comments and we can have a discussion about it. A nice, pleasant discussion, nothing aggressive, just a nice, calm discussion with good motives behind us. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and goodbye, Whovians.